Next guy is a good friend of mine. The last time we hung out together, he stole a scooter. I'm not kidding. He's a very funny gentleman. Please give it up for Mr. Joe Gorman.
John Robbins, let him hear it, you guys. Falling down the floor. What's up? I'm the Get Drunk and Steal Shit comedian, apparently. Let's talk about it. Let's not, because it's actually kind of oozing into every other aspect of my life. Here's where it becomes a drinking problem, is when you update your OkCupid profile drunk, and then you don't bother making the changes when you're sober, because it's like, you know what, this is the real me. This is what they need. If a person is too stupid to know I did nothing but quote Jurassic Park the whole way through on this profile, they are not worthy of my love. You know what I'm talking about? That's the philosophy I'm going with. But thanks to OkCupid, I have fucked women on a scale of gorgeous to oops. You know what I'm talking about, fellas? Pretty? Oh, that lost them. All right. Let's talk about dating. Because not a lot of comics talk about that, and I feel it's an untapped source of material. Wait a minute. You're telling me you went to a show and a comedian went on stage and talked about an internet date that might not have worked out perfectly? Tell me more. All right. I went on the date with this woman whom I met on the internet, and we were waiting for the popcorn shrimp to arrive because that's just the way it works at Long John Silver's. And getting into the conversation, she asks me immediately, "Hey, do you like painkillers?" And I said, "Honey, I love painkillers. This is phenomenal." So she reaches into her purse, and she pulls out a bottle of Vicodin. And she said, "My doctor gave me these when I had an abortion." Like, holy shit, lady, I would kill for these drugs, and you totally did. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about, Snob Theater? I don't know if you read this thing called the Bible, but that shit begins at conception, all right? Dark, angry. I like painkillers. I'm not gonna bullshit you, but my favorite thing is drinking. If you hadn't known, where I become a cat burglar. What I like about drinking, wait for it. I'm just doing what they call a setup. What I like about drinking is it has good stories and it has bad stories. For instance, one time I was very, very drunk and I sent a text message to my ex-girlfriend, which is a faux pas. And the text message I sent, it wasn't, "I miss you" or "I'm still in love with you." The text message I sent was, "I am Batman." Hey, here's the thing. Sending that text is a decidedly un-Batman thing to do. You been keeping up on your English lit? He doesn't pull shit like that. What was I thinking? And she'd be pretty dumb if she didn't figure out I was Batman right off the bat anyway. You know what I'm talking about, fellas? We're gonna tell 7 more instances of my severe and debilitating drinking problem. And then I got some observations on breakfast cereals that will blow your mind. Stick with me. This is a drinking story that's not about getting fucked up. It's about the triumph of the human will over all kinds of adversity. I was in North Beach drinking Jaeger, which is a sure sign that I have entirely too much money to get fucked up in North Beach. And I was so drunk, I could not drive my car home. And my friend said, "All right, look, we're just gonna put you in this cab and go home." So I got in a cab, and when the driver asked where I was going, when I opened my mouth to give him directions, vomit came out. Now in America, that is a tremendous insult between cab driver and passenger relationships. And I thought he was going to punch me, or even worse, yell at me. So before he could say anything, instinctively, I started crying, and I told him I had skin cancer, and he gave me the ride home for free, you guys. How about that? Did you ever watch the movie Rudy? It would be like that if he had a drinking problem and had no interest in sports whatsoever. That is exactly like Rudy. Tell us about a time dating went awry, Drew. Okay, all right. I did this show, and this girl comes up to me, and she said, "I think you're very funny." I'm like, "Oh, thanks." So we started drinking, because that's how it works. And I must have hit the right chord because she said, "Hey, do you wanna go do some cocaine?" And I said, "Honey, I got a better question for you. How come we're not doing any fucking coke right now? You know what I'm talking about, darkroom? You gotta grab the bull by the horns." So we went into this back room, and she pulled out a little baggie, and immediately I realized I was out of my element, as my only experience with cocaine was the movie Scarface. And my only experience with Scarface were those gigantic shirts that have Scarface on them that all the kids wear. And I was like, oh, I don't know. And here's the thing. I'm a rich white kid. I should be really fucking good at doing cocaine. That never works in the mission. So, it's fine. There's nothing hilarious about reality. So I said, all right. Time to put all those hours of watching daytime television into play. I will Cookie Monster this said cocaine. And if you ever watch Sesame Street, whenever Cookie Monster is presented with said cookie, he'll just kind of throw it in the direction of his face and make a nom sound. And no one's the wiser when it comes to what he did. So I said, all right, this is what I'm going to do. And then she did a line of coke. And I was like, there is no way I can Cookie Monster that. And pushed it and went, oh, I gotta go. And then I left. And a few days later, she added me on Facebook. And that's the story of how I almost did drugs and almost got laid. Honesty is its own punchline, people. I'm going to tell you that much right now. Oh, yeah, I totally did drugs and fucked a woman. That's not true. That's not true. I know the chronology of Star Wars. It's not true. It doesn't work that way. I'm not a bragger. But recently I was riding the bus. And I was drinking a Gatorade because when you're unemployed playing Legend of Zelda all day, you burn through electrolytes like woo. And this guy 3 rows behind me starts yelling. All right, and he's like, you can't drink on the bus, you're breaking all the rules. It's like, all right, you know, whatever. I just have like 4 stops left. And I thought that was the end of it, but again he starts yelling at me and he's like, you are breaking the rules, you gotta get off the bus, you know. And it's like, here's the thing. This man who was yelling at me was not wearing any pants, all right? And when you're on public transportation bereft of one's trousers, I think the beverage consumption of another individual is of no priority. And I was gonna tell him, leave me alone, fuck off, man, why don't you go find a nice pair of pants? Then I saw he had a Burger King crown on, and I'm like, ah, fuck, he's legitimate. I am not gonna rock his burger monarchy. Let's see here. You guys like, where are you from?
Richmond, Virginia.
Richmond, Virginia. I'm gonna tell a joke about New York. Being a traveling comedian, I go all over the place. And a couple months ago, I was in New York City. And it's a lot different than San Francisco because it's super competitive. And the guy was like, I can't just put anyone up. You really have to bring it. You have to be really special. I said, let me very quickly give you 3 amazing bullet points about my career. I'm cool, I'm young, and I'm from San Francisco. What's not to love, right? And he goes, oh, you're from San Francisco. Are you gay? It's like, dude, you're from New York. Did you die in 9/11? No. I guess stereotypes don't work out. And he was like, that is a horrible thing to say. And I was like, how horrible is that on like a scale of 1 to 9/11? You know what I'm talking about? My name is Joe Gorman. Thank you very much. Put that shot on you guys.